Hello, good morning, dear students. Today I'm going to discuss about the General Agreement on Trade in Services. This is one of the very important component of our WTO that is there in your syllabus of International Economics of 4th semester of Mangalore University. In the outskirts, all of a sudden we will think about the GATS because earlier, before 1995 or 90s, there was GATT called General Agreement on Trade and Tariffs. But this particular new idea that came after the WTO, World Trade Organization, that is too particularly after the Uruguay round of talks of 1995, this particular GATS is established. So I will start with the introduction. The creation of the GATS was one of the landmark achievements of the Uruguay round. As I already said, this is the landmark achievements of the Uruguay round, whose results entered into force in January 1995. So it has come into enforcement, or in other words, execution in 1995 January. So what are the objectives? The objectives of the GATS. The GATS was inspired by essentially the same objectives as it is counterpart in merchandise trade, the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. This is the thing that I mentioned in the beginning. General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. This was the very important agreements. And as for this GATS also, GATS is also inspired by this particular GATT. So what are the objectives then? The first one, creating a credible and reliable system of international trade rules. So everyone should believe and rely on such type of international trade rules should be brought into. Second one, ensuring fair and equitable treatment of all participants, principle of non-discriminations. Of course, that type of mental or setup is there. There is a discrimination between rich countries and the poor countries and all these things. So that should not come into the picture. So principle of non-discrimination is the second very important objective. That is what the GATS is having. And third one, stimulating economic activity through guaranteed policy bindings. That is also very important. When there is guarantee for any type of economic activities, then there will be some impetus, in other words, encouragement that comes to the mind of the people of that country. So from that angle, all countries set up also, so it should be stimulated. Promoting trade and development through progressive liberalization. The liberalization should be as far as possible, it should be suitable and it should be matching with the changes, because there are a lot of changes in the system. So it should go along with the changes. So there should be progressive liberalization. These are the main objectives of this GATS. So then who are the members? All WTO members are at the same time members of the GATS and to varying degrees have assumed some commitments in individual service sectors. Of course, all WTO members are the members of this particular GATS also. Of course, their role and their commitments are depending upon their services they are expecting or they are involving. So services covered under the GATS. Which are the services which covered under the GATS? The GATT applies in principle to all services sectors with two exceptions. Which are those? Article 1 of 3. Article 1 of 3 sections of the GATS excludes services supplied in the exercise of government authority. Remember that? Governmental authority. These are services that are supplied neither on a commercial basis nor in competition with other suppliers. Maximum time it is going to be the defense type of Cases in point are social security schemes and any other public services such as health or education that is provided at non-market conditions. The services, of course, they haven't mentioned here military. Otherwise, the main things, of course, sometimes government is going to have some social security measures. It is not for the competition purpose or some, say for example, some governments are giving free education and free health, and this type of things will not come under the competitive markets. That is why it is a not included in that GATS. Furthermore, the annexure on air transport services exempts from coverage measures affecting air traffic rights and services directly related to the exercise of such rights. So, after that, the GATS distinguish between four modes of supplying services: cross-border trade, consumption abroad, commercial presence, and presence of natural persons. See, we would like to discuss one after another now. Cross-border supply is defined to cover service flows from the territory of one member into the territory of another member. That is, example, banking or architectural services transmitted via telecommunication or mail. This is the cross-border supply. Second one is consumption abroad refers to situation where a service for consumer, example, tourist or patients, moves into another member territories to obtain a service. Third one, commercial presence implies that a service supplier of one member establishes a territorial presence, including through ownership or lease of premises in another member territory to provide services. Example, domestic subsidies of foreign insurance companies or hotel claims, etc. And the fourth one, presence of natural persons consists of persons of one member entering the territory of another member to supply services. Example, accountants, doctors and teachers. The next, on a moment of natural persons specifies, however, that member remain free to operate measures regarding citizenship, residence, or access to the employment market on a permanent basis. So, GATT distinguishes these four modes of supplying services. Of course, that is the most important thing in this respect. Apart from the traditional concept of cross-border trade, it is necessary to introduce three additional modes of supply. The supply of many services often involves the simultaneous physical presence of both producer and consumer. There are thus many instances in which, in order to be commercially meaningful, trade commitments must extend to cross-border movements of the consumer. The establishment of a commercial presence within a market or the temporary movement of the service provider, the GATS expressly recognizes the right of members to regulate the supply of services in pursuit of their own policy objectives. However, the agreement contains provisions ensuring that services regulations are administered in a reasonable, objective, and impartial manner. Some basic obligation under the GATS. This is also again the most important thing that we should discuss in brief. Obligations contained in the GATS may be categorized in two broad groups: general obligations that apply to all members and service sectors, as well as obligations that apply only to the sectors inscribed in a member schedule of commitments. Such commitments are laid down in individual schedule whose scope may vary widely between members. The relevant terms and concepts are similar, but not necessarily identical to those used in the GATS. For example, national treatment is a general obligation in goods trade and not negotiable as under the GATS. So what are the general obligations? There is YEPM and most favored nation treatment. Under Article 2nd of the GATS, members are held to extend immediately and unconditionally to services or services supplier of all other members treatment no less favorable than accorded to like services and services supplier of any other country. This amounts to a prohibition in principle of preferential arrangements among groups of members in individual sectors or of reciprocity provisions which confine excess benefits to trading partners granting similar treatment. De- or Derogations are possible in the form of so-called Article 2 exemptions. Members were allowed to seek such exemptions before the agreement entered into force. New companies can only be granted to the new members at the time of accession or in the case of current member. By way of a waiver under Article 9 of 3 of the WTO agreement, all exemptions are subject to review. They should, in principle, not last longer than 10 years. Furthermore, the GATS allow groups of members to enter into economic integration agreements to mutually recognize regulatory standards, certificates, and the like if certain conditions are met. These are basic obligations. I will continue that. And next one is transparency. GATS members are required, among other things, to publish all measures of general publications and establish national inquiry points mandated to respond to other members' information requests. Other generally applicable obligations include the establishment of administrative review and appeals procedures and disciplines on the operation of monopolies and exclusively suppliers. Some basic specific commitments, not the basic, specific commitments. Market access is a negotiated commitment in specified sectors. It may be made subject to various types of limitations that are enumerated in Article 16 of 2. For example, limitation may be imposed on the number of services suppliers, service operators, operations, or employees in the sector, the value of transaction, the legal form of services supplier, or the participation of foreign capital. These are the things that I am going to discuss today. Next one is national treatment. Commitment to national treatment implies that the member concerned does not operate discriminatory measures benefiting domestic service suppliers. The key requirement is not to modify, in law or in fact, the conditions of competition in favor of the member's own service industry. Again, the extension of national treatment in any particular sector may be made subject to conditions and qualifications. Members are free to tailor the sector coverage and substantial content of such commitments as they see fit. The commitment thus tend to reflect national policy objectives and constraints overall in individual sectors. While some members have scheduled less than a handful of services, others have assumed market access and national treatment disciplines in over 120 out of total 160 odd services. The existence of specific commitments triggers further obligations concerning, among other things, the notification of new measures that have significant impact on trade and the avoidance of restrictions on international payment and transfers. Yes, students, I stop here and I will be back with the other parts of this particular GATS tomorrow. In a single day, probably it may become overdose on your parts. It should not happen like that. That is why please understand this much things, and I will be back tomorrow with the further advancement in this GATS. And of course, GAT is one of the very important topics from your examinations point of view. So please read it and try to understand. Thank you.